it again with a story time. I'm not sure why I'm on the floor. I just couldn't get comfortable on the table for some reason. It just felt like I was like at a sit down or a news interview or something like that. So I was just like, nah. But today is gonna be a story time about how my high school heartbreak set the precedent for how I view relationships, or how I did. I'm not gonna lie, how I do. So there's gonna be a few people in this story, and just stick with me, bear with me. But yeah, so circa 2014, I graduated from a private Catholic high school called Bishop Ford High School. And a lot of good things happened there, and then a lot of bad things happened there as well. And it is no longer up, like it doesn't exist anymore. The Archdiocese just let it go, and then it turned into a charter school. So fast forward to how I met my ex-boyfriend. We're gonna call him Greens. There's gonna be a couple of people in the story. My ex-boyfriend is gonna be Greens. A staff at this private high school is gonna be called Miss Yellow. A girl is gonna be called Red because she had red hair. And let me think. And then there's gonna be another guy involved. We're gonna call him Blue, right? Okay. So fast forward to 2012, 2013. I had this guy best friend, Greens. We were cool. We were always cool. Like when we would have like free lunches or free time, we would hang out in the library and we would talk, and I liked him. I did like him, but I wasn't letting myself like him because I was always raised in a way of like, in a Caribbean household, it's like, don't focus on boys, don't get into it with boys, like don't even look at them, don't even smell them. Like that's the type of shit my parents was on. So yeah, he was interested in me, I could tell, and I liked him, but I wouldn't let myself like get that far with him, or like, show interest, but I would always flirt and play with him or whatever, like joke with him. And I have my sweet 16. I invite him. I invite all my friends. And then I think a year later, I think he asked me to be his girlfriend. Like he just cornered me in the hallway one time. And this particular person, my ex-boyfriend, Greens, he was a clean person, very clean person. But when I would see him, he would be like really disheveled. Like he didn't give a fuck. He would come in with like his shirt out of his pants, sneakers untied. Like the boy didn't care. Well, he was a boy at the time. He didn't care. And so that kind of made me overlook him a little bit, like, because I was like very like organized, very put together, and no shade. And yeah, one day, I don't know what it was, but one day he came in with like a haircut. His lips were moisturized. He had his Blistex, like, yeah. So he had like a full clean haircut. Like, I don't know if it was a dark Caesar or a bald fade, whatever. And he had his lips moisturized. Like he was just looking good. He was smelling fresh. He was smelling clean. He always smelled good. Just looking fresh, looking clean. Just, I loved it. And he cornered me in the hallway, and he was like, nobody was around. He was like, Satira, like, I like you. Like, I like you, and I want you to be my girlfriend. And I was looking at him like, yeah, no. But it wasn't, it was because I was scared. I was scared, and this would be my first boyfriend, like first everything. And yeah, I kind of dodged him for like a week or two, and then I gave in because like a lot of our friends was like, Satira, just date him. Yeah, so some of our friends was like, yeah, just date him, da da da, like he's a good guy, like you guys are already friends, da da da. And I was being a hard ass for real, but I did want to date him. I date him. Things are going well. You know, we're hanging out a lot. I'm going over to his house a lot. And it was just a really good time. Like, we had great times together. Looking back, I felt like he couldn't be there for me emotionally for some reason. I don't know. I felt like I was a little more emotionally mature and then not. But there was also a staff member who got involved in our relationship as well, Miss Yellow. She was a computer technician or something, and she was viewed as like the cool, like a cool staff member, like because she was black and she was older and like she was kind of up with the times or whatever. But she got involved in my relationship. She actually tried to get my ex-boyfriend Greens with another young lady, which I'll call her Red. Really pretty young lady, not ugly at all. But I also always felt like there was a lot of colorism involved, because she ended up telling my ex-boyfriend, well, she ended up telling Greens like, hey, I guess Miss Yellow and Greens was very cool. So they would have conversations and she would tell him like, you know, Satira is very dominant and you need somebody soft like Red. That really made me sad. And then further down the line, while I'm at this high school, just unprovoked, walking in the hallway, and this particular woman, Miss Yellow, she comes up to me and she goes, "You're not as pretty as you think you are." And that really broke me a little bit, because I'm like, well, I think I'm pretty decent. Like, how can you, an adult, 40-something years old, a black woman at that, come up to me and tell me something like that? Like that, I'm not gonna lie, that hurt my feelings. I ended up telling another staff member. That staff member was cool with her. And he called Miss Yellow and told her exactly what I said. And not less than 5 minutes later, she calls me and she apologizes to me. And I felt like that was damage control, because she probably knew that I could get her suspended or fired or whatever the case, or there would be a talk would ensue with the dean. So after that, I just never looked at her the same. So here's where the bad comes. After that happens, me going on the senior trip wasn't possible because my parents were sacrificing for me to go to this private Catholic high school. And so they couldn't afford to pay my tuition for that week, but they were going to have the money following the next week. The dean and the principal wasn't trying to hear that. No matter how much my mom begged, my mom wrote a check, all that. They weren't trying to hear that. So I didn't go on my senior trip in high school. And it was sad. It was sad. Like, I saw my friends, like I saw like pictures and videos it was posted on Facebook, stuff like that. And my ex-boyfriend, Greens, he goes. And I later find out that he cheated on me with Red. This is someone he told me not to worry about, and it was devastating. Like, come to find out, he cheated on me. And basically what I was told is that they kissed. Now, when he came back from senior trip, he was acting very weird. And he was like, Satira, I gotta tell you something, but I can't tell you right now. Like, this is him fresh off the bus, coming back to Brooklyn or whatever. And he was like, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, what? Did something happen? Like, are you okay? Like, and I'm all excited. I'm thinking something good. But then my gut is like, no, something terrible happened. And that set the precedent of relationships for me. Like, I was looking at him wild funny, and I was looking at men wild funny, because I would hear about people getting cheated on, but it really messed with my self-worth, and it really messed with my mind, because I'm like, you pursued me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you knew that you liked her enough, you should have explored that and left me the fuck alone. Like, that's how I felt. Anyways, fast forward to us graduating. I was in love with this man. Like, I was in love with him. Like, I literally thought we were going to be together, have children, like the whole nine. And it ended up not being that way. And yeah, I like, even every time when I hear On the Run by Beyonce, like, I would think about him. Like, not think about him, but like, I'll remember, because that was a song that we played for my prom. Anyways, yeah, like, I don't care if we on the run. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that happened, and he follows me to Long Island University. I kind of let it go that he cheated on me. We ended up going to prom together. Like, I tried to let it go. It was still in the back of my mind. So here's where things get a little rocky. We go to LIU together, and I end up joining the Caribbean Student Union or Association, whatever, CSA, CSM, something. And we meet a whole bunch of people, and I ended up meeting this guy named Blue. And Blue was a bad boy type. He, I believe, was gang affiliated. And he was cute. Like, I just thought he was cute. He had a great personality. Like, he was cool. And I think Greens picked up on that. And yeah, Greens didn't like that. He didn't like that. And although I wasn't like pursuing anything, I feel like at that time I was very naive, and I don't know, still hurt from what had happened. So we ended up going on a break. I initiated that break because during my time at LIU, I've realized, like, I do not feel cared for at all. And prior to this break, my ex-boyfriend was going into the dorms constantly in the dorms, hanging out with people that I had no idea. He would tell me names, but I never met them. So I didn't know what he was doing. If he was doing stuff there with other girls, like, I didn't know. But I knew that he was cool with this guy who was like into music and producing and stuff like that. And he was into music and producing as well. So, my little naive mind was like, yeah, he's probably just there trying to like get the hookup on music or whatever and record or whatever. We go on that break, and Blue recognizes that me and Greens is not really like hanging out. We're not together. He's like, what's wrong? Da, da, da. And I tell him, and then we end up messing around, and I felt bad about it, and then I didn't feel bad about it. And I guess you could say I got my lick back, but after that, our relationship was never the same. Never the same. And so the way that I perceived relationships after that, where men are bad and I hate them, and like they just mess up everything and stuff like that, and it was a lot of reflection for me. And Greens never spoke to me normal again, which is understandable. But yeah, he never spoke to me again. And to this day, I feel bad. I feel bad of how I made him feel, but I also feel like that might have been karma, kind of. because of like, I guess what he did to me. But I say all that to say that my ex was a good person, and so was I. I just think that we were kids at the time. We were young, and I feel like I didn't set boundaries within our relationship, and I just like let certain things go, and I shouldn't have let things go the way that they did, and just allowing other people in our ear, and just, yeah. But it allowed me to learn that just because somebody does something to you, you don't have to do it back to them. And also, people view unhealthy relationships, can view unhealthy relationships as healthy, and some people can view unhealthy relationships as healthy. And it set the precedent for me because I was treating him how I saw my mom treat my dad. And I'm not talking about the part where I'm messed with blue on my break. I'm talking about like the selflessly giving, the being there, the talking to him when he needed me, giving him money when he didn't have no money to eat, like shit like that, you know? And today I'm like, so today I'm at a point where I've realized I've never had like a real boyfriend. Like, if I'm being honest, I've only had one, and I was in a relationship this past April, but he didn't really ask me to be his girlfriend, so I don't consider that my boyfriend. But I've only had like a real relationship when I was in high school, and after that it was just me dating somebody or hooking up. As much as I despise hooking up, I didn't view it as hooking up because we would spend a lot of time together, but they never like made it official with me. So semantics. But where I am today is like, I want to be in a healthy relationship. I want that. And then there's other parts of me that's like, why? Like, what do you want from that? Like, I don't want the headache. I don't want the struggle. And that's the thing. You can be in a healthy relationship and you don't have to have that. There can be challenges, but you don't have to struggle. So that's the story time. I feel like I jumped all around the place, but yeah, I'll also never forget his mother, Greens, his mother telling him that cheating is nothing. So when you have somebody that is an adult figure in your life and they tell you something like that, maybe he thought cheating was okay. And he thought I was going to be okay with it. I think the fuck not. And still today I'm like that. Like, at the drop of the hat, I'm gone. Like, I don't want to deal with anything like that because I know I wouldn't do it to you. Even though that's contradicting because I kind of did, but that was a long time ago. I'm not like that at all. I've learned tit for tat is not a good thing to do. But it's crazy because when it happened, I didn't even have him in mind, which is crazy because of the break. But going back to that parental figure, like, even my dad even told like one of my uncles, and my uncles was like, I don't know the exact words, but I know he was like, that is nothing, that's small thing. And I was like, now if it happened to you, now if a woman did that to you, they'd be a whole slut, all the things, you know, like, they'd be all the things. But when it's done to women, it's like, you know, heal, just move on. And then other people say that it's not that easy, especially if it's like in a marriage and you have history with somebody. Like, I just feel like it was the biggest betrayal And it was like a chronological series of events that happened after, you know? Like, how can I be the bigger person when someone didn't have me in mind in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Like, but where I am today is I'm understanding where I started is not where I'm going. And have y'all ever had like a situation like that? Or how was your first heartbreak? Or how do you view love today? Because I feel like also society has a great way of telling us what we should want, when some of us have our own ideas of what we want when it comes to a relationship. And because it's not up to societal norms and standards, we are looked at crazy or funny. But something I'll throw out there is, when I get married, or if I get married, if I choose to, I don't, or if the man that loves me enough and wants to do life with me and is a sacred and divine union, I am choosing to have my own house. Yeah, I want my own house. I want my own house, or I want my own bedroom. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I need my space. I need my space. If we decide like how many days in the month to sleep in the same bed, cool, but I want my own little thing going on. Ask me why. That's just what I want. I prefer it that way. I really do. So yeah, that's my story time. I have more on the way. Still working on my lock journey video, because I just have like pictures of the starting journey and TikToks, and then yeah. But hope you like this story time. Let's get a thumbnail in. I'm not making any cuts. If you do see cuts, it's because I had to stop because of interruptions. But